let me share with you what years of experience with beautiful women has taught me. Now, I know that might sound like a strange way to start, but the truth is that I've been in countless relationships, situationships, and encounters with women across the spectrum. And through all of that, I've learned things that I wish someone had told me years ago. I've always been a man who values his freedom. I never could stay in a relationship for too long because, honestly, the women I was with would eventually become exhausting. I like my independence. I like being able to indulge in whatever I want, whenever I want, within reason. And yes, that means I've been with a lot of women. But here's the thing. When you've been with enough women, you start to notice patterns. You start to see how they think, how they act, and what actually drives their behavior. And I'm not here to judge them for it. I'm not here to be bitter or angry. I'm here to tell you what I've learned so you don't have to spend years figuring it out on your own. This is going to save you time, energy, and a lot of unnecessary frustration. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once observed that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And how you react to the reality of female psychology will determine whether you thrive in your relationships or get constantly frustrated by them. So let's get into it. The first truth I learned is that there is always going to be a man who she thinks is more attractive than you. Now, before you get defensive, hear me out. You could have everything together. You could be in great shape, have your finances in order, dress well, and carry yourself with confidence. But no matter how good you look, there will always be a guy on TV, a guy down the block, a guy you see at the mall who she finds more physically attractive than you. She might not even know him. She might never speak to him. But purely based on looks, purely based on that primal, surface-level attraction, she's going to notice him and think, damn, I wish my man looked like that. And here's the hard truth. There's always a guy who's taller than you. There's always a guy who's more in shape than you. There's always a guy who's better looking than you. That's just reality. And I don't say this to make you feel insecure. I say this to free you from the illusion that you can ever be the end-all be-all for any woman. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius once reflected that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When you accept this truth, your soul is no longer dyed with insecurity. You stop trying to be perfect because you realize that perfection is an illusion, and that frees you to focus on what actually matters. Now, I noticed this early on in my experiences with women, and instead of getting offended or feeling inadequate, it taught me something valuable. If she's always going to be looking for something better, then I might as well treat the relationship the same way. Just how she's using me to her advantage, I can use her to mine. It sounds cold, but it's just a recognition of the reality of the dynamic. If I lose a leg tomorrow, she's not going to stay. It's that simple. And that sucks to say, but it's the truth. If I can't provide, if I can't look the part, if I'm not the man she signed up for, she's gone. Not because she's evil, but because that's how women are wired. And I'm not saying that to be bitter. I'm saying it because understanding this saves you from expecting loyalty where loyalty doesn't exist. So, I've always treated relationships with a certain detachment. I don't go to women for financial advice. I don't go to them for deep emotional support like I would with my boys. I don't unload my problems on them because they're not equipped to handle that. They're there for connection, for companionship, for pleasure. And that's okay. That's their role. But you have to understand that role and not confuse it with something else. And again, as cool as it is to have multiple women, it's the same level of cool for her to have a better man than you. That's just how it works. So don't get offended. Don't take it personally. Just treat it for what it is and focus on yourself because that's the only way to handle that situation. The second thing I learned is that women want you to lie to them. Now, before you get all righteous on me, let me explain. I've been in so many situationships where the woman I was seeing knew I was seeing other women. But here's the thing. Especially with good-looking women, they don't want to hear about it. They don't want to see it. They know what's going on because they're intelligent. They're not stupid. They can put two and two together. But they don't want to confront it because it makes them feel bad. It makes them feel like they're not enough. And you hear this a lot, especially with wealthy couples. The man is rich. He has a beautiful woman by his side, and she knows he's seeing other women. She knows she's not the only one. But there's an unspoken rule where the woman essentially tells the man, "Look, Don't embarrass me. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. And she'd rather he just say, baby, you're my only girl. I love you entirely. You're my one and only. Knowing damn well he's seeing other women. They'd rather hear the lie. They'd rather live in the fantasy than face the uncomfortable truth. Dead serious. Because for them to hear the truth right then and there, it makes them feel like less. It makes them feel replaceable. And nobody wants to feel that way. Now, I'm not saying lie to them about everything. There's a way to navigate this where you can be truthful without looking like a complete scumbag. I don't actually agree with outright lying to women. I think you should tell them the truth, but to a certain extent. It's not really lying if she knows the deal and you just don't say anything about it, right? My ex used to know I had multiple women. Her friends used to tell her, there's no way this guy is being faithful to you. He's fine with seeing you once a month. He has to have other women. And I did. But even if I didn't have other women, I still wanted to see her only once a month because I'm just that type of guy. I have things to do. I'm busy. And that's how I feel like all men should be. Don't give too much time to your girlfriend because they're going to take advantage of that. If you're always available, they lose respect for you. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. When you waste your time being overly available to a woman, you are wasting the opportunity to build something of value in your own life. And she can feel that. She can sense that you don't have anything better to do. And that is not attractive. Women love when you lie to them, but again, not too much. And for you to get away with this, you have to be a 100% man. You can't be a pushover. You can't be weak, because women will eat that up. If your woman knows that she can't get any better, she'll accept the lie because she knows you can replace her just like that. That's the dynamic. That's how it works. It's not about being cruel. It's about understanding the psychology of attraction. The third truth I discovered is that women would rather share a king than be a peasant's only woman. Now, this is something everyone's heard of, I think. It's the same idea as a woman would rather cry in a Bentley than in a Honda. If you can provide everything else except monogamy, if you can pay all of her bills, if you are the man, you have status, you know how to dress, you know how to fight, you're in shape, she knows women are going to want you. And she'd rather share you with other beautiful women than be some loser's-only partner. Because women live in constant competition. They'd rather share you, the king. But if they have a loser all to themselves, no one else wants him. All the fun is gone for them. You become boring. There's nothing to accomplish. Does that make sense? Women don't have an end goal. There's nothing to chase. So that's why they'd rather share a king, because by sharing a king with other women, they're in constant drama, and they love drama. They wake up looking forward to the chaos. Which woman am I going to fight now over him? But if it's just you and you're a loser, oh, this guy sucks. He has no future for himself. I'm by his side. I'm his arm candy. I know I could do better, because they know deep down that they want the best man possible, and they'd rather be by his arm, even if there are other women by his arm as well. Think about that scene from The Dark Knight. You think those women don't know what the deal is? They're next to Batman. They're not next to some nobody. Even the Joker had the baddest women obsessed with him. That's why I say, be the villain. Be the man that women can't help but be drawn to. And it all comes back to their feelings. How do they feel when they're around you? When they know there are other women, they feel threatened. But it's a feeling. Whether it's good or bad, it's something that distracts them, that keeps them going. They're next to you, but you're the man. It makes them look good to everyone else. It makes them feel better. Again, it's selfish, but it's the truth. It all comes back down to their feelings. And with a boring man, a simple man, it doesn't matter if you make good money. If you're not keeping her on her toes, if you're not having other women around, if you have the same routine every day, you go to work, you go to the gym, you come back, even if you go to the gym every day and make good money, if you have the same routine, there's nothing exciting about you. You have to have other women around. You have to go out with your boys and have her at home wondering what you're doing. That's how you keep them engaged. That's how you keep them obsessed. The fourth thing I learned is that femininity is always conditional. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not in the day and age where femininity is unconditional. There is no such thing as a feminine woman unconditionally. Your great-grandmothers, your grandmothers, they had a little bit more of a semblance towards that. But even then, they couldn't work. They weren't allowed to work. So even if your grandfather was bringing home pennies, he was putting food on the table. He was still out there putting in the work. So even then, if he was a deadbeat, they probably wouldn't be with him either. They just had no choice. But when women have all the choices possible, it's conditional. You're not going to get a truly feminine woman if you want to go 50-50ths on the bill, on the rent, on the food, on the drinks. If you're splitting everything, you're not a man in her eyes. And I'll tell you what I would tell my own daughter if I had one. I'd tell her, stay away from that man. He's not paying. He's not a 100% man. Stay away from him. Go with a guy who pays all the bills. And even if he might indulge another woman here and there, as long as you're the main one, you go for that. Because I'm tired of seeing men being taken advantage of in the comments. You want to go 50-50ths with a woman? No. On this channel, we strive to have the leverage in relationships. And to have the leverage, you need to pay everything. All the bills. You need to work hard because that puts a woman in her feminine nature. A woman isn't going to be generous with you if you're going half on rent. It's that simple. A woman isn't going to sit there cooking and cleaning if she's paying for the food that she's cooking for you. It's that simple, guys. And again, this is so easy. You're going to get all this from women if you do what you're supposed to do anyway. If you work hard and just pay everything. I'm not saying go out there and buy her Louis Vuitton bags. No, but pay for the bills, pay for the food, pay for her nails once in a while. Don't get taken advantage of, but that's how you keep them engaged with you. Just know that her femininity is conditional. She's not going to be head over heels with you if you're not playing your part. And again, it's a two-way street. She has to play her part, but her part should not be focused on paying half the bills. No, we're men over here. Her playing her part is she behaving? Is she doing what she's told? Is she not talking to other men? Is she being loyal? Is she a good look on your arm in front of people? Is she not annoying? Does she speak when she's spoken to? Does she not give you attitude? Stuff like that, right? But anything that involves money, that is your lane. And stick to your lane because that's the only way you're going to get a beautiful woman to be feminine with you. And that's how they all think, whether they're beautiful or not. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius once reflected that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And when you realize that you have the power to earn, to provide, to create the life you want, you find the strength to do it. You stop trying to split things 50-50ths like a partner instead of a leader. You become the man she looks up to. Finally, the fifth thing I learned is that women want you to dominate them physically and socially. There is a book called 50 Shades of Grey, and it was the highest-selling book of its time, and something like 80% of women bought it. And there's this guy named Christian Grey, who's a billionaire who lives in a penthouse. This dude physically dominated her, and later we'll talk about the social part. But during sex, he hit her, he spit on her, he slapped her around, he told her what to do, what to wear, he used sex toys with her, he chained her up, handcuffed her. Women love that. Now, don't go overboard, but women, even if you do go overboard, I'm telling you, when I used to have sex with certain women, during sex, I would slap them, and it used to make them even more aroused. I could feel it. As I would slap her, she would get more into it, because women like to be dominated. It shows that you're a strong man. It shows that you don't give a about her, but you do. Like, you're not going to smack her for just talking to you crazy, but during sex, that's the most primal activity ever. And they love that. They want you to tell them what to do, what position to go in, what to do next. Give me head. Don't stop. Pause. I know I'm looking right at you, but that's what they like. So you have to physically dominate them. And for that, you need to be in shape. You need to have a certain level of physical presence, because they know that not every man is willing to take that role. And when you do, you become irresistible to them. Now, for social attraction, this is being charismatic. It's not listening to them too much. It's having purpose. It's knowing how to speak well. It's having a lot of friends that look up to you. If you are with a group of friends, and you're like the group leader that they all kind of listen to, they can pick up on that and they find you more attractive. But if you have a friend group and she can tell that this other guy who might not look as good as you or make as much money as you, if he's the group leader, she's going to look at him more without even realizing it. She's going to think, oh, this guy has something that my boyfriend doesn't have, and she's going to be attracted to that guy. I'm not saying she's going to do anything or cheat on you, but that's how women are wired. You have to be exceptional in every area. You need to be an alpha male. This comes with dates too. A big part of why men have trouble getting dates is because they're asking women out on dates. No. When I get a girl's number, I don't ask for the girl's number. I don't say, "Can I have your number?" We'll set something up. When the time comes, I say, "Are you free this day? I want to take you here." I'm not asking her, "Can we go on a date? Can I have a kiss? Where do you want to go?" No, you pick the place and tell her what to wear. We're going to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Wear a dress. Look pretty when I pick you up. Be ready by 6 p.m. Boom. They want to hear this stuff. Don't be asking them anything. That's social attraction. That's you having frame. That's you telling them what it is, being dominant because you don't care how they act. A lot of men are scared because they want to be nice towards a woman. They think that the woman will like them more and give him some earlier. No. If you're there acting all timid, she's thinking, he doesn't deserve to get anything from me. The guy who deserves it is the guy who doesn't care if he gets it or not. The guy who's already getting it deserves more of it. It's messed up. But that's how beautiful women think. That's what I've learned. And again, you have to not do this on purpose. But if you're the man that you are, if you wake up and do what you're supposed to do, you're going to walk around with a certain confidence and a certain demeanor that women are just going to pick up on, and you're going to be irresistible. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus also taught that no great thing is created suddenly, and the confidence that makes you irresistible is no exception. It is created through the accumulation of small choices, each one building on the last. Each time you choose to lead rather than follow, you build that confidence. Each time you choose to dominate rather than submit, you build that presence. And as you build it, it becomes part of who you are. You're going to tell her, "Come here. Give me a kiss. Did I tell you not to talk that way to me?" Turn around. Don't even tell her. Turn her, push her away and turn her around. You have to be like that. I'm telling you, that's the only way you're going to keep them interested. It's very simple, but it does take time. I wouldn't have known all this if I haven't been in so many relationships, situationships, slept with so many women. And I'm not saying I'm that guy anymore, but those characteristics are still there. That's why it's still so easy for me. And I know it's hard for a lot of you guys, but if you really pick up on this and start practicing in your everyday life, you're going to see results in no time. So, there you have it. 5 truths about beautiful women that I've learned through years of experience. There is always going to be a man she thinks is more attractive than you. Women want you to lie to them. Women would rather share a king than be a peasant's only woman. Femininity is always conditional, and women want you to dominate them physically and socially. These are not easy truths to hear, but they are truths nonetheless. And once you understand them, you stop being frustrated by women. You stop expecting them to behave the way you want them to behave. You start understanding the game and playing it on your terms. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius once reflected that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When you cultivate thoughts of understanding, confidence, and leadership, your soul reflects that. And women will see it, they will feel it, and they will be drawn to it. Because in a world of men who are weak and unsure, a man who is confident and dominant is a rare and precious thing. Be that man. Build that life. And watch how everything changes. If you found this video valuable, subscribe to the channel for more insights into psychology, attraction, and mastering your life. Turn on notifications so you never miss a video. And remember, the strongest man is the one who doesn't need to prove a thing. See you in the next one.